Okay, so today on Sweet Cheese we've got like a devotee, Kasinatha Prabhu, joined in 93, and he's going to tell us a bit about what's going on in his life. Hare Krishna. Right, so tell us a bit like about yourself, how did you join?
Well, 1993, I first met devotees. Across time, many youth cultures have been the backbone to Krishna consciousness. In the 60s, it was the hippie thing, and then later on, many devotees came out of the dance music counterculture, and that's where I came out of. I came out of acid house and techno and dance music. And about 93, that summer of love period from 89 to 93 had started to die down, and a big part of that scene was self-realization. A big part of the scene was tripping. But there was many factions within that scene that got into self-realization. Many went to India, and so I was getting into reading books on philosophy and self-realization, and I met some devotees in Kensington High Street, and that was it. I started coming for the lunch program, and then I slowly started to do a bit of service, cleaning the stairs, washing the pots. And I never forget the smell of halava and sandalwood incense.
Yeah, how was it?
I still smell it now, that same smell. And there were some great classes by Prabhupada's disciple called Raghunath Das. He was giving classes in those days. And it was a great time.
And then you took up like some serious service in the temple. You were temple commander, or you were doing book distribution?
Yeah, I joined 93. I started for the first 4 years. I was living in Shepherd's Bush, and I would just come up every morning and come for Mangalati and do service. And I cleaned the stairs. I think I was one of the longest stair cleaners. I cleaned the stairs for 4 years, which I really needed because I just come from quite a crazy culture before. I really needed to get back in my body, get back in my mind, and heal my body and mind. And then one day, the ashram leader, Murli Prabhu, put a job description down and said, how about having a go at this? And it was a temple commander job description. So until then, I was a really shy devotee. I was outgoing when selling books because the service does transform you. But otherwise I was quite, introvert. But after doing the temple commander service for a year, there was no room to be introvert. You have to go full on. And the service empowers you to get the job done.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah, well, around 2014, I started developing a bizarre neurological condition, which was intermittently paralyzing me. So sometimes I'd be able to come in and do my service, and other times I'd be stuck at home with my legs basically totally uncooperative. And as one temple president used to say, you either get with the program or you get with the program in another temple. In regards to doing service, he was quite strict. So my legs were being completely uncooperative. They wouldn't get with the program at all. a sense of, I know as devotees we're trying to overcome false ego and obtain our real ego as spirit souls. But when you're paralyzed and your false ego has basically reduced itself to being just a piece of meat, being prodded by doctors, the sports activities help bring back that sense of, wanting to win,
challenge
and
determination.
All those character traits, the human character traits that we like to defend our persona from and with. So so they pushed, and I ended up winning a gold medal in a quite prominent competition between all the 21 spinal units in the country. And I won a gold medal for our ward, for our hospital actually, in table tennis, and I came second in fencing.
Fencing?
Yeah.
Were you in a wheelchair?
Yeah, it's all wheelchair-based.
Wheelchair-based fencing?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, disabled people are even more hardcore. There's, the rugby, the wheelchair rugby, it's called, the nickname for it is murder ball.
Murder ball,
right. Because it's so intense. I mean, some of the participants end up getting even more injured, They go in with, a sea level injury and they end up with an even higher level injury. But the fencing is,
like the mask?
The whole fencing is very much a game of patience and a game of mind reading. And after the umpires, the referee says fence, there's several seconds of psyching each other out, of being totally still and then going for your move. And if you move before the referee has said fence, then you immediately lose a point. So I lost because of the points that I lost.
So, I mean, do you have any advice for people who have come across disability? Because like you're saying, it's like we're in such a bodily conscious society that when people do get physical disabilities, then it's like the end of the world, because it's so much pushed on them, like you say, advertising campaigns, you should look like this, or you should look like this,
I think 2012 Olympics went a long way to showing that, for a disabled person, newly disabled or otherwise, that's that it's not the end of their lives, it's the beginning. That perceptions are changing. That disabled people can be physical, they can be sexy, they can be, they don't have to be stereotyped to, this smelly thing in a wheelchair that's treated like a 7-year-old, or the media perception is, they're always some nerdy computer genius in their wheelchair. That no, they can be doing sports, they can be parents, they can be lovers, they can be actors, actresses, they can be Hare Krishnas selling books. Take a copy, give a donation, whatever you can give, it's fine. I can roll up to you in my wheelchair and, hey, yoga, meditation, hi, I'm Kashi, take a book, give a donation, whatever you can give, it's fine. So it's, the media sells this completely bogus concept of who's healthy and who isn't. They sell this magazine reality, and not just for disabled people who have to struggle to because they don't feel up to par to the magazine reality. The everyday Joe who's not disabled lives in a world of social comparison and feeling slighted because they don't have the right breast size, or for men they don't have their six-pack, or for women they don't have the hairstyle, or whatever it is. Because media sells this completely bogus magazine reality that hounds everybody into feeling insignificant and insecure. When all the while the real your real identity that we should be celebrating as an eternal soul becomes minimized into something that's embarrassing to talk about, or is considered, I heard one scientist say such a concept should have been exploded at the time of the Big Bang. It's considered in that way by the puffed up academia, to be a subject that was long ago forgotten. I mean, I heard from our Guru Maharaj that the UK and New Zealand are way up in the top 3 of atheist countries in the world. So yeah, we're living under the pressure of having to submit to bogus magazine-like identity.
Well, yeah, this is like the age of Photoshop and so forth. So there's a lot of people, even like models. You know, Cindy Crawford was quoted as saying, you know, I wish I looked like Cindy Crawford. She doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you see,
That's a good one.
Yeah, there's a picture of her without makeup and so forth, and she was like, you know, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
They sell an impossible like image, and people trying to live up to that.
Yeah.
They're always going to fall short.
It's true. I mean, funny enough, you know, people think we have to, you know, create this magazine-like persona to be able to attract the things and people we want in our lives. But it really isn't that. It's your energy, your emotion, your personality, your consciousness, the way you articulate that creates that attraction. And obviously beyond that, from a devotee's perspective, there's karma and the modes of nature involved.
Well, Bhakti is like, it's always about like people and personalities and interactions. Because Bhakti is a relationship, you know, it's a relationship between you and Krishna, and then also a relationship between other people.
Yeah.
And you've got like personalities who develop great power, great strength, just by devotion. Like, for example, Jayapataka Maharaj, you know?
Yeah, because service empowers one. What's the expression? A mouse can become a lion, and a lion can become a mouse. I experienced that firsthand when I became the security manager. Because up until that time, you know, I was never a fighter growing up in school, and I was always a big mouth. I was always a smart mouth to get myself out of any scrapes, and I'd be more interested in having a laugh than having a fight. So, but you know, when asked to do the temple commander service, which included security, then the service empowers you to do the needful. So for those 7 years, I was doing stuff that I never ever would ever imagine myself doing. Standing outside the front door with several guys screaming in your face that they want to kill you and stab you and punch you, and standing there and getting ready to fight with them. I'd never ever do that before. It's not in my nature. But you know, service is transcendental, and it empowers beyond your nature to do what's needed for the sake of the service, for the sake of Krishna consciousness.
They Live is a 1988 American science fiction action thriller film. It follows an unnamed drifter who discovers the ruling class are aliens, concealing their appearance and manipulating people to spend money, breed and accept the status quo with subliminal messages in mass media.
What do these things want, and why are they here?
You still don't get it, do you, boy?
They have recruited the rich and the powerful.
They're running the whole show.
Wake up! They're all about you, all around you. Blinded us to the truth.
Take a look.
They are safe as long as they are not discovered.
I don't know what they are or where they came from, but we gotta stop them.
Stay away from me.
Put these on.
They have us. Look at them, they're everywhere.
It's a commentary on advertising and news, everything, every form of media that we've taken to be real, that we've taken to be the way that life is a commentary on that. But instead of it being, you know, some corporation that's trying to rip everyone off, they discover in the film that it's actually an alien takeover going on, which can be perceived by putting on these glasses. You get a book from a book distributor, and that's like receiving the glasses to perceive the reality that the newspapers, the TV shows, the adverts.
What he actually sees, I suppose, is the real intention.
You start to see the real, behind the advertising, behind the huge $1 trillion media machinery. He starts to see that it's, it's a covert intention going on, a covert plan to basically indoctrinate, control people's mind, attention, life, their money. Yeah, basically just become a cog in the machine, just become an obedient robot.
Right, and produce more robots.
And produce more robots, and that's it. And everything will be fine. And but he finds the glasses just like somebody could find a book given by a book distributor, and suddenly read and put on the new perception of reality that this material world is actually just a simulation generated by our karma and the three modes of material nature and the false ego.
You would like to trust this world and you'd like to think that it's going to be okay, but it's not.
Yeah.
Is that there is a lot of manipulation subtly out there trying to push you towards this materialistic mindset the whole time, but one has to step back and then they actually get to see what this world's about.
Yeah.
Because then you know how to go about life in a better way to avoid those things, know it's out there and you know that you can't really play with it, You can't go out there and play with Maya and think that, it's all okay. You have to be very careful about what you do, where you go,
It can be a culture shock when you put the glasses on and first start to see that the world that your teachers, parents, friends, TV, radio, internet has taught you about is not the real world, I mean, the Vedas have a conclusion along the lines of it's real, but because it's considered temporary, is therefore illusory. Because that which can be considered real is that which doesn't change, that which is eternal, consistently unchanging. Whereas this material world, every aspect of it is subject to disease, birth, death, old age, disease and death is subject to time and change. So first putting on the glasses and seeing that this world is temporary and that there is another world can be a culture shock that many people are afraid to face. So they'd rather fight tooth and nail, argue the crack, as the Irish would say, to avoid putting on those glasses.
There is actually there's a fight scene in this film, and it's probably the longest fight scene in any film ever. So it goes on for like 10-15 minutes. It's two guys just like beating each other up.
Does
in
he
the back
force the glasses on?
He's trying to force the glasses on the other guy. But what it's saying now in the movie is like, this is how difficult it's going to be. That's preaching, basically.
Yeah.
You're trying to get somebody to see something from your point of view, or from what you would think is the real point of view. It's like, this is what the world is like. And they, like you said, they would fight against that. They do not want to know what the reality is.
Yeah. So, you can see it in academia that, some of the most mundanely, materially intelligent people will also fight tooth and nail with their academic prowess.
It's everything they've worked
deny.
for years and years and years, at university, like studying, and all of their everything, all of their credit, their reputation, everything balances on complete illusion.
And this is the world that we live in. People will fight even till their dying breath to defend this illusory world, to defend illusory aspects of this material world. They will fight for theories, they will fight for temporary identities, they will fight for temporary racial, social, cultural, political, sexual identities, which are all temporary and which are transient to your real identity, which is eternal.
So what's the solution then? In this movie, the solution is they just go and buy some shotguns, American way, let's somehow get victory by saying it's party time, and they just like get the shotgun and and then just blow the hell out of everybody. It's like
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I think it takes different approaches, because many of the times it's not what one says, it's how you say it, you know, and many times people are turned off by spiritual or religious rhetoric, because, you know, so many people will reject because of stuff they grew up with, and peers and parents, and they learn to dislike, so they reject everything to do with it. But if given in a certain way, like the way that you're doing this now today through these shows like this, using the ways and the means of the counterculture of any specific time, then people can be given those glasses to see reality in a way that suits the counterculture that they're part of, rather than, you know, being bashed with a rhetoric that's distasteful to them, you know. Because most of the time, it's not what's being said, it's how it's said.
So, do you have any words in closing?
So, you know, beyond all of those gender and racial flags that everybody's flying these days, why not fly the flag of your real identity? Get one up on everybody who's obsessed with these identity politics. The real identity is your eternal life, but you never hear it being celebrated, you know. So I'm all for waving the real flag of identity, which is not racial or sexual or cultural, but transcendental. Scientists use the experimental method to test the reality of something, so why not try it as an experiment? You know, say to yourself, for 1 month, I'll chant Hare Krishna 4 rounds a day, 1 round a day. And I'll try to be vegetarian for that 1 month, and take to it as a scientist and try and register the effects, and see what effect it has on your, not just your budget, but you know, on your emotional, mental environment, your physical environment, and your happiness levels. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.